Today is going to be a great day. I just know it.
Exington Ruude, commercial entrepreneur extraordinaire, took in a deep breath as he waltzed over to his store window and flipped the sign from closed to open. He grinned to himself as he unlocked the front door to his lovely little store, Polite Provisions. The store had been in his family for generations, and he was the latest in a long line of successful store owners. And Exington Ruude was successful, despite what his battle axe of a mother-in-law said, loudly and often. Polite Provisions was more than just a general store, but it was a high-end boutique for the well-to-do adventurer. Many wonderful and powerful magical items and potions rested in enchanted glass cases along the right wall, and along the left were an assortment of magical weapons. Spaced within the middle of the store were racks of magical armors and other arcane garments to assist those who might need them. Exington moved back behind his front counter, where he displayed jewelry, wands, rods, and other such lovely baubles. Usually, patrons didn't venture into his shop until closer to lunch, but Exington was nothing if not professional, punctual, and accommodating. However, this morning was already proving to be different than what he was used to. His door opened, and a group of 3 adventurers came in.
Oh, welcome to Polite Provisions. I'm your purveyor of lovely items, Exington Ruude.
Upon first glance of his patrons, Exington felt his spine shrivel ever so slightly. The first adventurer was a tall, broad-chested goon of a man with an extreme case of the stubbles. His cheeks, chin, and lip were in desperate need of a shave. Based on his dirty and scuffed steel armor and the sword at his side, the man had to have been some kind of warrior. His long hair was matted and probably hadn't been shampooed in some time. His fingernails had dirt, or maybe worse, under them. Exington shivered a little at seeing that. The man had a pair of blue eyes that surely charmed bar wenches across the land. When he smiled, a set of yellow teeth gleamed back at Exington. A thin and shifty woman dressed all in black was beside him. She had bright red hair, a pair of green eyes, and she had a small rod or tube hanging from her belt. The woman was wearing gloves, boots, and the only bit of skin that was exposed was her neck and face. Her eyes danced all around to the various precious items in his store. Exington's stomach swirled, and he instantly didn't like that one. The last individual was dressed in a set of light-colored robes that were perhaps once white. Travel, dirt, dust, and... oh goodness, was that blood? Well, whatever it was, their white robes were marred and stained in various places. A silver holy symbol of some obscure divine being hung from the person's neck. They had long hair, one brown eye, and a patch over the other. This person was quite androgynous. Each of the adventurers had large sacks of items on their backs. The warrior stepped forward.
Good morning, fella. Do you buy magical crap?
I beg your pardon? I am a purveyor of fine luxuries for adventurers, although I have been known to purchase unique and exotic items and artifacts.
All right. I got something for you.
The warrior put his filthy bag on the glass counter and then opened it. The woman in black giggled as she sauntered closer toward him, eyeing Exington as he sneered at the smudge the bottom of the warrior's bag left on his clean glass countertop. The warrior pulled out a small bag of something foul-smelling and tossed it on the counter. It landed with a squish.
Do you buy troll ears?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I buy what?
troll ears. You know, like the ones on your face. Only troll ones.
For a long moment, Exington gazed at the warrior, who simply looked back with the innocence and earnest nature of a child. Slowly, he leaned over the little bag and then opened it. His stomach turned into liquid, and it tried to escape past his lips. Exington immediately pushed the bag off the counter, but his eyes opened wider. The bag left a slight green streak on his counter.
Oi! What are you doing? Those are perfectly good ears. You have...
I see that you are a man of definitive taste, Mr. Exington Ruude. Obviously, you don't want troll ears, so we shall put them away.
The warrior scoffed, and then he picked up the small bag of severed and leaking ears. He returned it to his bag a moment later.
You see, we have something far more unique that you will most definitely want to buy, I'm sure. Please allow me to show you this.
The woman in black reached into her own bag and produced an artifact, the likes that Exington had never seen before. It was a solid gold hand, perfect in detail from the balled fist to the bottom of the forearm. She set the golden hand on his glass counter. Judging from the sound it made while being placed on the glass, it was quite heavy.
From what I could gather, this is a solid gold hand.
My word! May I pick it up?
Why, certainly.
Exington picked up the hand and squeezed it. It was as solid as he was expecting, and it was perhaps about 50 pounds or so.
Tell me, my good lady, where did you find this? This is very valuable, but also quite strange.
It was under a boss monster's bed.
Immediately, the woman in black slapped the warrior in the arm and beamed a withering look. Her smile returned once she looked back at Exington, but her eyes swirled with annoyance.
What my associate meant was that we found this object during one of our recent adventures.
But he said you found it under a bed?
Oh, not just any bed, but the boss monster's bed. This was surely a highly coveted magical item.
It certainly was magical to the boss.
The warrior started laughing harder, but both he and the cleric stopped their delight when the woman in black snarled at them.
Idiots! I'm trying to sell the fist. Shut up!
The woman in black smiled at him once more.
Regardless of what this hand was used for, it is solid gold and can be melted down.
Once more, Exington's stomach swirled angrily within him. Gold or not, this hand was far more gross than he had hoped for.
In order to melt it down, I will have to pay someone to do it. I can give you 200 gold coins for it.
300.
250 and all in-store credit. I can restock all of your supplies, and I have arrows, spells, and potions to trade as well.
The woman in black glanced over to her two comrades. The cleric nodded, and the warrior shrugged.
That sounds like a fair deal. I'm a sorceress and a bit of a rogue of sorts. I would be interested to see what kinds of spells you have.
At the end of the glass case, there are various scrolls with labels. Feel free to pick out what you like.
Okay, so you don't like troll ears. But would you like to buy troll teeth?
Troll teeth? What did you do to those poor creatures? I don't want troll anything.
The warrior frowned and then looked into his bag, perhaps mentally cataloging what other monstrosities he might have peddled. After a few moments, he frowned and then took the bag off the counter.
Don't worry, my friend. I'm sure someone in town will want to buy the troll eyes at least.
I hope so. I worked so hard getting all of them out.
The urge to hurl once more almost dominated Exington, but then the cleric came up to the counter and set their bag on the glass counter.
I have something in this bag that will fascinate you, ensnare you, and is most definitely not troll anything.
What is it?
The cleric pulled out a stone statue, or rather, a stone idol. The idol was about 2 feet tall and had a pair of red rubies for eyes. It looked like a man, dressed in a loincloth, holding a staff with a circle headpiece.
Oh my. That is a pretty little... Where did you get it?
Don't worry. As far as we know, this wasn't used for any deviant purposes. It was actually the main treasure in a shrine to an ancient god or something like that.
An ancient god, you say?
Exington bent down and peered into the idol's eyes. Was it his imagination, or were those eyes glowing brighter? The room was definitely getting darker.
Exington Ruude, I see you. You will serve me.
As much as Exington tried, he just couldn't break eye contact with it.
Submit to me, and I shall grant you everything you want. Submit to me, and I shall burn this world in unwhole.
The woman snatched the idol and threw it back into the cleric's bag. Suddenly, the light in the room returned to normal, and a sense of dizziness struck Exington.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, nothing. While my friends look at some of your other wares, can you please help me with some of the scrolls?
Certainly.
After about 10 minutes, Exington's head was feeling much better, and the woman in black had selected 10 new scrolls of magic to trade for the ghastly golden hand. The cleric and the warrior were talking to themselves and peeking over at Exington as they whispered. A slight, imaginary slime slithered across the back of Exington's neck, and he licked his lips apprehensively as he approached them.
Something I can help you both with.
So, do you buy weapons and armor?
Well, can you be more specific? Are you saying that you want to sell me some? And where did you get these weapons and armor from?
We killed an entire goblin tribe for him. We have 50 sets of armor and swords to sell. You want them?
You... Are you trying to tell me you murdered an entire tribe and stole all of their weapon and armor and are now trying to pawn them off on me like I'm some second-rate trader? This is an high-end boutique. No, I do not want to purchase your pilfered goods.
You're not being very accommodating. You're not buying any of our great stuff.
Great stuff? I'll have...
Now, hold on, everyone. Chubin, your stuff is great, and we will find a place to sell to. This place isn't it.
It most certainly isn't. You might try Greasy Frank's Emporium. Frank loves your special kind of merchandise.
Really? Ah, yes! I hope he likes troll ears, eyes, and teeth.
I'm sure he will pay you all handsomely for it. Do you have anything else you wish for me to consider?
We even have the severed head of a gorg.
Chubin, didn't you hear? He doesn't want our special kind of merchandise. Now let's go find this emporium, shall we?
The trio started to move toward the door, and a slight tickle danced in Exington's insides.
Oh, hold a moment. You already took me on this little adventure of grim and foreboding. And now you're going to leave without showing me the grand finale? Or at least telling me more? I think I'd like to know, at least, what this severed head is of.
For a brief moment, the trio of adventurers looked at one another with somewhat concerning mischief. One by one, they each smiled. The woman in black walked closer to him, her grin becoming even more devilish.
My dear Exington Ruude. Oh, we have a rare treat for those who have the need for such things. The severed head belongs to a gorgon.
A gorgon?
Yes, a gorgon. This particular gorgon was quite nasty, and, you see, it petrified one of our friends. There used to be 4 of us, but, alas.
Petrified, you say? Really? How did it petrify your friend?
By sight. If you look into the creature's eyes, it turns you to stone.
It even works after she died. That's why we have it covered.
Now, you probably couldn't sell it in your store, as looking at it would affect your clientele. However,
If
there was someone you didn't like, someone who often makes you upset or belittles you, someone like a rival or a neighbor or a
battle ex-mother-in-law?
Yes, or a battle-axe mother-in-law. Why, if such a person existed, you could send them this anonymously. They would open a gift-wrapped box, perhaps, and then, poof, stone.
We could even deliver it for you.
Oh, yes, we could. For you or anyone else, really. For a fee. But I'm sure you don't have anyone in your life that you would want to be petrified anonymously, right?
Just curious. But how much would the head and the fee cost?
800 golden coins. In hand. No credit.
I will give you 1,000 to do it today.